Hello Stampers! My name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I have a fun fold card for you. It's called a tuck fold. Now I found this on Pinterest and I could see many projects that the woman had made, but it never got to her website or blog. And right now her name escapes me. I'll make sure it's listed below. And she did many versions of this tuck fold card, and it's really kind of fun and a little different. Most recently I've seen Lisa Curcio do one that is similar, and I changed it up so it has my spin on it, and let's just get started. All right, here is my card. Isn't that pretty? It's got using the Magnolia paper, and it's a simple message. Congratulations. And this is the part that is the tuck fold. This piece folds into the corner, and that's the way the card closes. On the inside, I added a little bit of decoration and a few rhinestones to the outside. That's all there is to it. So let me show you the pieces that you need to make this card. I used a piece of Whisper White that is 8 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. So that makes our piece here that is the base of the card. Then I have a piece of the Designer Series paper with the green leaves on it, cut at 5 by 4 1/4, and that piece is going to go on the inside. Then I have these two pieces. This is cut 3 inches by 4 inches, and so my matting piece is cut 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, and that is our piece that's going to go right along here. Then this piece ends up, this flap ends up being 2 1/2 inches by 4 1/4. So this one piece that needs to go on here needs to be 4 inches by 2 1/4. Then this piece is another that is 3 inches by 4 1/4, and this one is going to go on the inside for a place to write our message. Then these are the two pieces. This is 2 1/4 squared, and this is 2 1/2 inches squared. And my matting pieces in both cases are Petal Pink. And I'll show you how to cut these, and we'll make our tuck fold. And then the last thing I have is from the Designer Series paper. I have this pretty little magnolia bud, which we're going to put right up here to decorate our tucking area. Okay, so it's really very simple. Once you have your pieces cut, a lot of it is just assembly. So we've got a little bit of stamping to do. Let me bring out my snail here, and we're going to add our piece to the inside. And this green, by the way, is Mossy Meadow. That is the complementary color with this paper. So I'm going to set this paper down here and get it put into place, and then set this piece right down here. These are both going on just flat, and it's pretty easy. In fact, the only thing that I really raised on this whole thing was the sentiment. But with the bow and the tucking and everything else, I think that's sufficient. All right, so we're going to get this one set here on the outside panel of our card here. There we go. And that's all ready to go. Now, these two pieces can be put together also. There it goes. I'm a reluctant tape runner today. Okay, so this piece of Designer Series paper is going to go right on here. And isn't that just gorgeous? Now on here, what I'm going to do is center this piece on here and then open this up and move this out just a hair and put a little pencil mark. And that way I know I don't want my glue to go past that place there when I attach this piece onto here. And I think I'm going to just go ahead and do that. I can go ahead and put my glue into place, and I'm actually putting quite a bit of glue because this is what opens and folds into the tuck and everything else, and so I want this nice and strong. Okay, so again, this piece is going to be pretty much centered on here, so I'm going to hover that until I'm happy with the margins on all sides, and then put that into place. There we go. All right. So there's an awful lot of our card front already. Now you could cover this piece. You could add some more of this designer series paper here. I just didn't feel it was necessary for my card. You could certainly do anything you'd like with yours. Now I'm going to put my ribbon in place, and I'm going to leave it attached to the roll. Here is my black satin ribbon out of the catalog. It's a simple knot bow. And keeping my ribbons twisted as I pull the knot is the trick. So there we go, so that my ribbons are fairly straight. And that's not a real tight bow, but that's fine because I want this to have the knot be fairly big so that the bow sits the way I want it to. That's perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to take my glue dots here, and I'm going to put a glue dot right on the back of my knot and pick that up and put it into place right here on the edge of my card. And because that ribbon is so wide, I'm going to put a glue dot right underneath both edges of this knot bow to make my bow sit down and not move around and have it be the way I want it to be. And there we go. All right. Very nice. All right. I'm going to do my stamping. So this is the piece that is going to go on the inside, and then this is the piece that I'm going to do my congratulations stamping on. Let me show you the stamp set that I'm using. It's not the regular Good Morning Magnolia stamp set. It is something called Magnolia Blooms, and it's out of our starter brochure, a beginner's brochure, if you will, that has stamp sets that you can order. This one is $14. It's really pretty. The Magnolia and the Blossom are a little bit smaller. There's a leaf, and there's 3 sentiments. Congratulations, happy birthday, and thank you. And for someone who's a beginner, this is a perfect stamp set because it's got pretty images on it. 3 greetings that you would use quite commonly. And so this one is in the beginner catalog. And if you haven't seen it, you can see it, I'm pretty sure, under catalogs on my website. But I just love it, and I'll put the details below on it. Okay, so that's what I'm using, and here is my Magnolia bud, my little leaf, and my, oops, that's the wrong one. Where's my congratulations? There it is. So now I need my Momento Tuxedo black ink and my Pierce mat, and I'm going to ink up my Magnolia bud here and tuck that right here in the corner. There we go. And then I've got this little leaf stamp here, And what I'm going to do is stamp it once coming down the page, and then I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to also have it going across the page. There we go. Real simple. Now, on this piece, I'm going to take my straight edge here, using some grid lines to help me hopefully get this straight. And I'm going to ink up my congratulations here and see if I can't, pardon my head, if I get it in the shot here. But I'm going to stamp my congratulations right down here on the bottom. Hallelujah, it's straight. So I'm going to put away my ink because that is all the stamping we're going to do. Now I am going to bring back in my trimmer. For those of you that follow me, you know that I am really bad at straight. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to put it at a little past the 3/8 inch mark here and cut out, oops, I scored it instead of cut it. Cut out my sentiment here. So on this end, I'm just going to flag this end here by cutting up the middle and then cutting in from either side. And there we go. We've got a little banner for the bottom of our card. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is make sure that when we put this piece down, this one fits underneath it. And it looks like if I come in right about there, that will more than cover it. So I'm going to mark in my mind where that is, and it adds some snail to the back of my insert here. And let's make sure again. I'm not sure how straight this is. It is a little off. See if I can move it up just a hair. Quick before it gets too set. I did see a trick the other day where someone had, I think it was France Martin, showed a tip where she used fast fuse, which is really a sticky glue, and had it on her card, and she put the card in a microwave of all things and put it on for like 8 seconds, and she was able to peel her piece off that had fast fuse on it. Amazing. I haven't had the chance to try yet, but I'm going to. As often as I put things on crooked, this is a tip I need to make sure works. So there we go. The next thing we're going to do is to make our pieces for the corner. And on this one, I put the corner piece flush with the edge of the card, and I've just been wondering what that would look like if I didn't interfere with the white border and had it come down just a bit onto the card and made it flush with the piece of designer series paper that's on there, if that wouldn't look a little bit better. So I'm going to try to do that with this one. Let me show you how we do this. These two pieces are taken here, and each corner of this little square, or opposite corners of this little square, are put in the cutting channel, and then you set your cutting blade kind of in the middle and draw it across, and you get two little triangles. And this one, you do exactly the same thing into the cutting channel on both sides and put your blade in the middle. That way you don't scrunch up against these corners and ruin your pretty triangle corners. So then all you do is, once you've got it securely down, you you cut up and then come back and cut through. Okay. The thing to do is get it put in place and then hold it really firmly so that it doesn't move when you put your trimmer blade to it. Okay, so let's see here. Now, these two pieces can be adhered together, and they're cut 1/4 of an inch different, so they're going to create a perfect mat on here. The only thing I worry about is this is now further down here, and how easy it's going to be to get this card up in the corner. I might be better off to cut this a little bit smaller. So I'm going to put this back in my trimmer blade, and my trimmer blade has a little piece here that's got, it's not about 1/8 of an inch would be my guess. And I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off of that triangle. There we go. And then I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off of this triangle. And if I decide that this works, I will change the cutting measurements for these two pieces of paper and make them just a tiny bit smaller. So put that in place and then move your blade into the paper, cut up and then cut back, and there's my 1/8 of an inch off. So this should fit on here again just perfectly. So now, I don't know how much difference that'll make. It should make the same difference because that's about the border that I had. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it that way. So this then the black piece would be cut 2 1/8 inches square, and the outside piece would be cut 2 1/4 inches square. And I'll make sure I put that down below. Okay. So there's my piece, and this gets attached to the card here with glue dots. So what I'm going to do is take my glue dots here and kind of fold them over on themselves so they take up very little room, and I'm going to put one in each of the corners of my triangle here. So there we go. There, and one more right up here in this corner, because we don't want it to interfere with the closing of the card in any way. Okay, so now when you cut these squares, you end up with 2 sets, so you can make a couple cards. Okay, so this one we're going to attach just along the edge of the designer series paper here, and there we go. Put that into place, and that way my border is consistent all the way around in the white. And then this is going to tuck under here. I think that worked perfectly. So I will change those dimensions. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is put a little bling and put our dimensionals in place here. I mean our sentiment in place. And I'm going to use some mini dimensionals here to do that. A very hot day here that I'm filming this. Now by the time it gets to the video, it'll be different, but today it's going to hit 98 degrees here, so real toasty. All right, I wanted this sentiment to just be very, very minimalist on this. Because the drama is really the paper here. Okay, so let me see, what did I do with my flower? Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay, so we're just going to fussy cut out this little magnolia bud. So this piece is going to go right up here. And this piece was right on the edge, so it's cut flush. So it's going to fit on here without my having to trim it. So I'm going to just add some snail to the back of this piece. Lots of snail. And put this piece into place right up here on my card. Go. That is the tuck fold card. Now we need to add just a few rhinestones here, and I think I just added 3 rhinestones to this. One right here on the tucking place, one up here at the top, and then one right on the body of the paper, maybe right down here where it'll show. And that is our project for the day. Isn't that a fun one? I am really tickled with it, and I'm very pleased with the way this came out. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't have already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. Now let's see. The holiday catalog will be live probably by the time this video is aired. It's on September 4th, and if you don't have a demonstrator and don't have access to a catalog, please let me know. I'm happy to send one to you. There's a lot of beautiful things in the catalog, and I've done a couple of Christmas cards already, and I've got a couple more planned, and I'll start working out of that catalog for Thanksgiving and Halloween and all of the holidays coming up. And so I'll be back soon with more cards and more projects. Bye!